Why are these
Babe.
lights on?
Babe.
Not in this car.
Stop
2 minutes.
David, Gordy won't leave me alone.
Did you mix your tea?
Gordy,
Which
what
one
are
are
you
you
doing?
doing?
Mom, that's
on,
in the
guys.
toilet again.
Yeah,
Fan
she's ready.
Recorded.
Oh my
Babe,
gosh,
Gordy,
what's that
get
smell?
your
Clean
shoes.
your room.
Gordy, was that you?
Babe.
Babe.
Bye-bye.
Where are you
Mom.
going?
Mom.
Drive.
Another snack.
Oh,
Where'd everybody go?
I love you guys so much.
Babe, are you in the bathroom again?
hello and welcome to another episode. I think this one's 11
It's 11.
because we had 11 recorded and then she messed it up.
Listen, I always feel when something good is going on in my life, there are negative powers that try to tear me down, right? Try to be like, nope, block, you ain't gonna do it, not gonna happen.
Just when I wish I had like a soundboard when I could start playing like the X-Files song so you can get into your conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to speak up a little bit.
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know,
weird because I never get
lately-
asked to speak up. I feel like I'm
Lately.
speaking regular.
But I
Like right now, I feel like I'm shouting. So I don't know.
But lately, you've been talking quiet. Yes. Like
Yes.
earlier when we were on the phone with Layla, you were just like, okay, Bubby, I need you to. I'm like, I barely heard you, and I'm sitting right next to you in the car. Like all of a sudden, you're turning into this quiet guy. Who are you?
I don't talk like that.
Yes, you do.
That's not true.
Lately, you have been
I
the
don't believe you.
quiet guy.
That, that's yeah. I don't know. Anyways, welcome, guys. Welcome in to Herm's house. I'm your host, Herm, and this is my lovely, lovely
I mean,
lying wife with all the lies that are coming out of her mouth,
you
talking about how
said
quiet
this
I am.
already.
Her name's Kristin.
Hi.
She's cool.
No, what I was talking about was these episodes and all of the technical difficulties I've been having.
We've dealt with a couple.
It's crazy. Like the first few, right? It was going
Mhm.
so smooth. We were like, everybody's excited and happy to hear us. And I'm like, yes, we're going to record extra episodes and we're going to be cool because I messed up and blah, blah, blah. And then just like thing after thing.
I mean,
after
first
thing.
the echo thing.
Well, first it was the
That
echo
was
thing.
terrible.
And then it was the car recording.
The car recording.
And I'm still waiting. Like,
Well-
come on, Riverside, get on it. Riverside is the system we use. I'm like,
Riverside, mother. So the what she's talking about, to give a little reference, is we went up to Phoenix to go help her younger sister pack because she just moved to Texas. So the reason for us going up there was to help her pack and do all that stuff, but it's about 2 hours of a drive. So she bought some of them little clip-on
yeah, the little clippy microphones.
clip-on mics, and then we recorded. We put the phone on my little phone stand
The
thing in the
dash.
truck, and we just recorded. We kind of did like a makeshift episode or whatever, right? But then because Phoenix is a million degrees, once we got into Phoenix at like 7:30 in the morning, it was already 400 degrees, and her phone got too hot and it just shut off, so it didn't upload properly like it was supposed to, and we're
Yes. So
we have a solid
and
2
then
hours of content.
right, yeah. So that goes down the drain because it won't let you edit even the little bit that was uploaded without having the whole amount. So there was that, and then we recorded an episode like on Friday.
Yeah.
Because it's now Tuesday.
Yep.
Either way, because we normally record on Fridays, so we recorded the episode on Friday, and I went to go edit it, little me, this weekend, and for some reason, David's mic wasn't connected, and I'm like,
But I connected it.
so we told this whole story on the last one about the technical difficulties we were
Yeah.
having, and yet again, another conversation about it. So here we are,
It's all
finally.
good, dude.
I know.
There's no forces. May the 4th be with you going on. and
Yeah, there's
yesterday was
evil
Cinco de
forces,
Mayo.
dark forces
Everybody's-
against me, I think, and they just want me to
Yeah.
fail, so I give up, but I'm not going to. Here we are, and hopefully, if there's another technical difficulty on this, I'm gonna.
For those of you not watching on the YouTube channel, she just did a weird neck stabbing thing.
Yeah.
But to herself, not to me, so that's a plus. Anywho, what we had going on last week that we were wanting to talk about is the fact that Gordy's baseball season is now done.
Yes, another season over.
Another season down, and like one of the biggest things that I wanted to discuss the fact that he went 3 for 3 baseball talk. Basically, he got up there 3 times and he hit the ball 3 times. Something he's literally never done in his entire 3 years of playing baseball, except for t-ball. But even then, I mean, he missed a couple times whenever he was trying to swing at that thing. But it was just so awesome to literally witness the growth in front of my eyes. And I was able to record one of them. I haven't posted on my socials. But he he geared up. He got in the box, and we tell him, all right, Gordy, load up, get that weight in the back leg, and he cranks the weight to the back leg, and then he picks his hands up with the bat, and the ball comes and he crushes it. And I say crushes it, but he's still tiny, and it just rolled past the pitcher or whatever. But all 3 times got a hit. All 3 times made it to base safely, and just ran his butt off, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see. But it started, like we said, 3 years ago when we were still in El Paso, playing for the Rockets out there, and you would send him out there, and he would basically cry.
Every time he'd be out there, be like, Gordy, okay, time to go. Cry. Okay, Gordy, go throw the ball.
And I mean,
Cry.
cry.
Like, cry. And then it was the funniest because we'd be like, okay, Gordy, up to bat. Crying, 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 crying. Gets to home plate, gets set up, hits off the tee, like, stops crying, hits the ball off the tee, runs to first base, gets to first base. And we're like, he's not crying. And then cry. Runs to second base, cry. Runs to third, like, crying the whole time. Sit in the outfield. And David was out there helping him coach, and he would sit there and cry and cry and cry. We have a picture of him, like my mom, I think, sent us a picture of him squatting in the outfield, crying. So he would just cry all the time on the field.
And it was so frustrating, and it's so hard to get past because of the fact that no other kid is doing this. And they're all the same age, and like you can't compare.
But I mean, to be fair, Gordy's the young, like out of all of
I know.
these teams, he is the youngest. He was only 3 years old when he started playing.
It was,
So
yep.
he was still technically a baby. He had just turned 3. So, yeah, we're not seeing the other kids do this, but he's also the youngest and has been the youngest and the smallest when it comes to grade, like school, when it comes, like he was mad the other day at his performance that we went to because he's like, Mom, I'm the second to the shortest in my class. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're the youngest, right? He's just barely like going to be 6 when everybody else has turned 6
Has
throughout the
already
year.
turned 6.
Right. And so he's like the youngest of everybody in his developing class.
Mhm.
And so to see him go out there this last game and just hit the ball 3 times, because at the beginning of the season, he was a little discouraged because now he's kind of getting into that. He's recognizing, right? He's comparing himself to everybody
Yep.
else. And his thing going up, he's like, it's hard. Baseball's hard. Batting's hard, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, yes, it's hard, but you can do hard things. And if you practice, you're going to get better. It's not going to get easier. You're going to get
And
better.
what does he say to that?
No, I'm not. No,
Ah.
I'm not. No, it's not. Like, yeah, he's the most stubborn. But seeing him hit and then go through and hit the ball, like it was so exciting to see him go out there and do it. I missed the first one because I was helping the kids in the dugout. But
I didn't have my phone out to record because I tried at the beginning of the season to, just in case he got a hit, but then he just never did. So at a certain point, I was just like, okay, he's not going to get a hit. And because he had that mentality of, it's too hard, I can't do it. So I didn't have my phone out the first time, and he got a hit on the second pitch, and I was just, of course, I'm first base coach, so I'm losing my mind having him run to first. And then the second one, his little walk-up song, that freaking lava chicken, lava chicken. That's his little walk-up song now from
it's from
Minecraft.
the new Minecraft movie.
It's
if you
hilarious.
haven't watched, it's actually pretty catchy.
Yeah,
You go listen to it. Jack Black sings
Jack Black.
it. It's a pretty cool song.
So the song comes on, but he sprints to the box and then gets set up. By the time I put my phone out, the first pitch had already gone, and he hits it off the first pitch, and there he comes running to first. So the third time he gets up, my phone's already out, ready to go. I'm supposed to be coaching, and I'm like, no, I'm going to record my kid. And yeah, sure enough, I was able to get him again. First pitch, swings at it, hits it, runs. You could just see him like he hits it, and the experience now that he has. As soon as he hit it, he just tosses the bat and starts sprinting, and it was awesome. I love seeing that. And
Well, it's fun seeing our kids like develop, right? And thankfully we get to be a part of their lives when it comes to those things. Like you coach and I'm team mom, and it's like I fight this battle within myself, like being involved so like in depth rather than just sitting on the sideline and being mom, right? It's like it's a hard battle I fight with all the time because I want to just be there and I just want to experience it as mom, but then, helping out and getting to be really in the dugout. And because I'm realizing I'm losing my patience. I used to be very patient. I mean, I've worked
And I'm getting more patient, which
yeah,
is,
it's weird,
I don't
right?
know.
Because I used to work in a daycare center and a preschool and all those things. So I mean, I've dealt with kids for a really long time, my early working years. And being in that dugout is just like really difficult. Like this last game, the kids knew it was the last game. It's getting towards the end of the year, and they were just crazy, like all over the place, jumping all over like they all were just hyper as heck. And I'm like, you know what? This is what it's going to be today, and I'm just going to leave it as
It
is.
was cool to see because the coach of the other team, he wanted to do so. The way it's set up, you're supposed to, go through your batting lineup. We had, I think, 10 kids, so you go through all 10 of them, and then last batter you switch. Whatever happens with the last batter, regardless of an out or whatever, and you do count the outs, but just in a sense of okay, the runner was out because the defense, got him. So he just goes and sits in the dugout. We don't actually do 3 outs and you switch. Well, the coach on the other side wanted to do 3 outs and switch, which we had done it the first time we played them, and they
Yeah.
crushed us.
And that's probably what he wanted to do
And that's
again.
what he wanted to do.
Which
And
is really annoying, and I feel really bad. The kids don't get to all hit, right? Because it's still early. And let's be fair, I've seen some coaches like in El Paso, the coaches' pitches out there, they were like competitive. I was like, holy crap, these
Big
kids
time.
are crazy. They would do the 3 outs and switch, but they would do the 3 out. They knew like first base, hit it, and like these kids were very talented.
Yeah.
And like this league, the kids are learning. So to me, I'm like, it's coach's pitch. Let's let we can learn, but take them through the lineup. Like let's go through it.
And that's weird because it was the last game of the season. It's like I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna go through the 10 batters that we have, and then we'll switch. And paying attention because he did want to switch after 3 outs. They never got 3 outs on us. So had it been just a normal game, we would have ended up run rolling them because of the fact that he and I think in 1 or 2 of the innings we did get 3 outs on them to where it would have switched and they wouldn't have been able to continue batting. So I mean that was something cool to see because we had played them before and they beat the crap out of us. So it was really neat to see.
Yeah, it was fun being able to see the development. I think focusing to like on all of them, but like seeing Gordy's development is so much fun. And just seeing all the things that our kids are going to be going through this year. It's a big like year for all of our kids, right?
Yeah.
Because Gordy's gonna go through his kindergarten promotion. He's going to first grade. Layla's gonna be a senior. Mariano's gonna be a junior, but we just heard that he's gonna be starting varsity.
In
Cristiano's
football.
going to high school. I'm gonna lose my mind because all my kids are growing up. So it's just crazy, like
Because
to
it's all at the same time.
it's all
Like
at
we
the
don't have
same
any like
time.
3rd graders just going to 4th grade, staying in elementary. We have Mariano. He's the only one that's like not doing anything like super special in a sense of school wise because he's going from sophomore to junior year. Well,
But he
Layla's
is. He's JV to varsity. Like
no football wise, yeah. But I'm saying like everybody else is. It's because again, Gordy's promoting from kindergarten, actually going to real school now. Which, in fairness,
no.
shout out to Vale freaking school district. Gordy, that homework that he's bringing home. I mean, we were probably doing it in 5th grade. It's ridiculous. He's
Yeah, some
it's
of the
wild.
stuff that
And
he's
he's good
learning
at
is
it.
crazy, yeah.
It's good at, and that's a big plus for him. I think that's where he's going to benefit at least sports wise because of the fact that yes, he is the smallest, but he's also been able to do it the longest because he's able to right when the age starts, he's able to start the league. Had he had he been born like in September, he would have always had to wait till the next year of being that age of being able to play, at least in the organized league.
Well, I mean, some people hold their kids back to
I
do
know, but I
that.
ain't holding them back. I don't want them to stay any longer than they gotta
You're
stay,
like,
bro.
it's
Get
more so
out
has
of
to do with
here.
me.
I
Like,
know,
here
exactly.
you go. You're done.
No.
Get out the
Mm-mm.
house.
Go send them back to kindergarten tripping. No way.
No, not even send it back to kid. Like, not start them until
No, you have because it's holding them back a grade level.
right. But we wouldn't. The thing is we didn't have to start Gordy in August. We could have waited a whole year to start him in
No, I
school.
understand, but the people that do that, as far as like reclassing, so that your kid
No,
can be the
yeah,
bigger player,
yeah,
the
but that's
stronger,
holding
and all
them
that stuff.
back while they're already in school.
Yeah, you hold
Like,
them
that sucks.
a full grade.
Why I would have hated that. Like, I did a whole year, and you want me to see all of my friends go
Go
on to
up.
the next grade, and I
Mhm.
have to stay here another grade? Like,
But they're doing it to these athletes that hopefully will develop more, and they're not
yeah.
getting playing time, and they're not getting, because if you stay
I
at the
don't
level
know
you're
if it's they're
at,
not getting playing time. They're trying to get it so that they're going to be a year bigger, a year older, so they
that's
look more powerful, they look bigger, but it's really just because they're older.
correct. They're
So,
older than
yeah.
the group that they're in, but they're in the same grade. So
Right.
that's where
Right.
they,
It's like those 19-year-olds that are still in high school, right? Because they failed or whatever.
with a paper that
And
says
you,
I am 12.
yeah, and you're like, yeah, no,
Good enough for me.
that wasn't cool, but apparently it's cool now to do that.
It is, I don't know. At least not in our family. That sure
No,
is
no, because
heck.
it's more so for us. We'd
Correct.
like our kids out of the house sooner
Yeah,
to do our
go live
own
your
thing.
life. Go.
No, to be fair, I don't want my kids out of the
No,
house
I
because I miss
do.
them and all of them. But I also want them to, be able to start understanding and developing, and hopefully we prepare them enough for like the next steps of their lives, right? Like, we can try, I think as parents, we try to do those things. We
Mhm.
try to teach them to be better and to be good adults, but we're still learning on how to be better and good adults.
Yeah.
So, we're giving them the lessons of what we did and what we messed up in. But the funny thing is like, you don't know anything. Like, our kids
Oh
are
yeah.
like, and I'm sure a lot of people out there experience this. Like, mom and dad say it, and they're like, no, that's not it.
You don't
But then,
even know.
like, our friends or aunt, uncle, or someone else says it, and they're like, that's a really good idea. Like, we should do that. And you're
That
like,
makes
oh,
perfect sense.
that's what I've been telling you this whole
But
time.
that's been that's been a thing ever since I started coaching, because I would have to specifically go to another coach to tell them, hey, you need to tell Layla or Noah that they're doing this or they're doing that, because if it comes from a different coach, then all of a sudden it's Bible, but it's coming from me and
Yeah.
you don't know nothing.
Well, I mean, and I can look back into when I was younger too, and like my parents would give me
Yeah.
advice or say things, and I'm like, yeah, right. You
Yeah.
don't know anything.
I'm good.
I'm good, yeah. And so I think it's just my karma, I guess, that now my kids are like, hey, mom, you don't know. But to be fair, I think my kids are, I hope, like seeing it a little bit. Like, I see that they're learning from my mistakes, at least, right?
Yeah.
We've gotten past a few, like, kids now without them having kids early, right? Like I did. And you did.
I was gonna say, Layla's already passed at least you.
Yeah.
Noah's passed us both.
Yeah,
So that's
thankfully.
huge. Shout out to Noah. Thanks, bud. I'm not
So
ready.
we got a couple more left, but that's one of my big goals is like just get through,
I know
continue on
that
finding your
sucks that
goals.
our goals for parenting is make sure that they graduate high school not pregnant,
Yeah.
because neither one of us.
I mean, to be fair, I graduated
you
not
had to graduate
pregnant,
early.
but I didn't have to graduate early.
I
I
know,
graduated early.
but you had to graduate early in order for that to happen.
But I graduated early not because I was pregnant. I graduated early because I wanted to graduate early.
Why?
Just happened to get pregnant
Because you were going to
the
follow a
month I
boy.
graduated. So, there's that, but yet I graduated. But yeah, it's true. They are very small goals that I have for my kids. And if they get past that goal, I feel like a successful parent.
Mhm.
But there's also things that I'm like, I hope for them that they do that I didn't get to do, right?
Oh,
Go
sure.
off to college and have those experiences, have
Just the
fun.
college life.
I mean, even, joining the military and doing it like active duty and
Mhm.
going and experiencing things. So those things that they can do and be a part of just in a different manner, right?
Right.
And to me, it's like, okay, making sure that they're doing that, and then also making sure that their specific needs as children are met, Like it's all these things as a parent we're trying to make sure our kids do.
So that's more so what I mean whenever I say I want, like, I'm ready for the kids to leave. It's not so much leave, it's just the quicker way to say it. It's more so for them to just be completely self reliant, to where if they still lived here, and like if Noah decided to go to college rather than join the military and he decided he was going to stay with us, that's not a problem. That's like he can come and go as he pleases. We don't have to worry about, well, let me see your grades. Let me see he's just a grown person living in our house. And if that's the case for any of the other kids, that's not a problem for me as long as they're able to rely on themselves. And I don't have to pay for them every time we go out to eat because God dang, ugh, especially Gordy. He's the most annoying because he's going to order a big old thing of whatever, and he's going to eat four bites.
Maybe because sometimes he does, and then he eats all of it. It's a hit or miss. It's always been like, I mean, to be fair though, that's how all the kids have been always. It's always a hit or miss. We never know if they're going to eat everything
No,
or just a small portion of it.
well, no, that's inaccurate. I always knew Noah was going to eat everything, and I always knew Layla was going to eat nothing.
That's true.
That's
I guess
all,
it's just my kids.
to this day. Noah, you take him anywhere, and also you take Noah anywhere. You could take him anywhere. Like, get something to eat. He's like, I'll find something.
Yeah.
Layla, you could take her anywhere. She's like, I don't like cheese. It's gross. She doesn't like cheese. Whatever. Anyways, that's more so for me, them growing up, and we're watching it, but it's just all these milestones at the same time. That is what's most emotionally exhausting, I think, because I know, Layla going into senior year, and she's starting college because she's doing like a college program thing through her senior year. She's still being, in school, but she gets to start the college program. So knowing that she's not driving to high school anymore, she's driving to college, and it's just like, ugh, gross. And then with Gordy going to first grade, it's not crazy different from kindergarten, obviously, but now it's like, the brain's going to start just more and more developing, and his personality and his attitude and all that stuff. It's just, we know it's coming. And
well, that's what I was saying with Mariano. Like, you start to see him change. Like, we went through this with Noah, so I know these are the years that he starts like turning into a man, and
his
like
little mustache.
it just like, I know it's changing. I know it's gonna change, and I see the baby going away. Right,
Yeah.
my baby's not gonna be a baby anymore. He's like a man, and I still see Noah like as my baby, but like you just see that change. And I was looking at the pictures even from last year to this year with Mariano, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like the difference. Like, I went to his 7-on-7 tournament, a few weeks back, and the picture of him all like muscular and thick, and I'm just like, oh, this is my baby. Like, he looks like a man. I hate this. Like, it's bittersweet, like you said, because you want them to grow, but then you're like, you still want them to be your babies. And yeah, for me it is. I'm talking about like probably
I was
mom.
not me. I'm fine. Because it's cool. I think it's cooler for me, especially with the boys. We have 4 boys and 1 girl. Layla's the only one that I want to stay, baby-ish.
Yeah, because she went to prom the other day.
Oh, gross.
And she was so pretty. Oh my God, all the things. She looked so cute. Oh, she was so beautiful. Like, we had her makeup done. I did her hair. She looked so pretty.
She did her own flowers.
Yeah, she made her own flowers. It was just so pretty. It was just so nice. And just seeing her like looking like a woman, I'm just like, where are our babies just like growing up? I hate it.
Yeah, I hated it. It was dumb. Whatever. But she's the only one that for me is like, I guess emotional because she's a little girl to me still. Unlike the boys, I feel like, once they get older, then, you have more in common. I'm able to actually be like buddies with them compared to, I don't know that I'll ever be Layla's buddy because I'll always be dad, and even though I'll always be dad to the boys, it's just, I think it's a different, you will always be mommy to the boys because they're all mama's boys. And for you, like, you're very motherly, you're very caring, you're very like cariñosa. It's Spanish word for just, like you call her smother. You can call her smother.
I'm not a smother.
Yes, you are. And so, yes, you are. the thing with that is the fact that you still, even Mariano was 16. He's going to be a junior in high school, and you still like get him and have him lay in bed with us sometimes. It's like that for you. You're like, huh, this is a baby. I'm like, boy, get your stinky, oh, get away. Jeez, hello. Oh, stinky.
Through what I don't know what show I was watching. It's like, I wish I could just scroll you up into a little ball again and put you back up in me. I was like, oh, I'm not like that.
You're close.
No.
Minus that part.
It was so weird. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
So you know what? I am not a smother.
No, I disagree. That is.
I just love my babes. That's all.
But yes, and that's fine. Obviously, I love them too. Believe it or not. It's just different. It's different for you.
Well, and I think
and
it's
for me.
our personalities too.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're just like Mr. Tough Guy.
I'm not a Mr. Tough guy.
You have no, like, you lack empathy.
A little bit.
And I'm like overly empathetic.
A little bit.
Empathetic, not
empathetic, not just pathetic.
pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I can be pathetic.
It's hard for me. Again, you say it all the time. It's like, that's the bootstrap theory. It's like, you're fine, dude. Get up. Keep going.
I did it.
And you're like, you are fine. But let's explain how fine you are and why you're fine.
Well, I mean, there's different methods now of parenting. And it's so funny because my boys are like, well, you're like this with Gordy. Why don't you just hit him? I was like, I never hit you guys. Like, I spanked you maybe once. I was like, I did the same things. I just know how to do them better because I had to do them with you guys. And there's just different methods now. That's just why. I was like, I never hit you. I said, do you want me to start hitting you guys now? And they were like, oh, no. You know, the older ones.
None of them lived in a legitimate spanking household.
No.
They,
No, not even with the other parents.
No.
So it's like, what are you guys talking about? You were never spanked.
Gordy by far has gotten more spankings, and he's at what? Probably 5 or 6 total spankings ever than any of the other kids.
Right.
And it was like, if you remember the one time that Mariano threw the huge fit at the Walgreens, and you had to take him over to the car and you spanked the crap out of him. That was probably the only time that you ever hit him.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, they live these lives. I'm like, they send me these reels, right? Like, of this mom like yelling at them, and then like I'm like, when do I do that?
Yeah.
And I always tell you, I'm like, am I this bad? Like, do I make them feel this way? Then I start counseling, right? I start going through my like, I sit on myself on my own couch, as my own therapist, and I'm like, am I making my kids feel this way? Is this what I do to them? Like, as they're sending me these reels, right? And I'm like,
it's
is
on
this who I am?
Instagram.
I'm like, I don't do this. Do I yell at them like this? And then there's some that I do relate to, like the really ditzy ones, or like the ones I'm like, this is me. So these all have to be real. These are all me.
Because this one was.
Yeah. So I have that battle within me. I'm like, I'm not like that. I don't go crazy. But then sometimes I do go crazy. Sometimes it takes me to get to that level for these damn kids to listen to me and the things that I'm saying. Especially now as teenagers, and especially now as teenage boys. We were just having that conversation about Mariano. He can literally lift me now. There's no like threat from me anymore. So I'm like, how do I go through? Yeah, I'm like,
okay. Well, stay in the gym.
So do I, but like, I'm like weigh nothing now, and he just tosses me up on his back, and like, I'm like, what the hell?
You stay in the gym to be cute. I stay in the gym to beat up kids. Just for the record, like, as long as my kids are working out, I have to work out harder. That's just them's the rules. All right.
Yeah.
Because they can't come in here thinking like, I can take them. Be like, no, you can't.
No.
Absolutely not.
And I think, I mean, I have the voice. There's no way anymore. Like, after Mariano just tossed me up on his back, like, literally, he was wrestling with his brother, and, like, I was like, I'm going to wrestle him off of you, which I did, to be fair. But then Mariano just tosses me on his back, does a push-up, and stands up with me on his back. And I'm like, what the hell, kid? Like, what? Who are you? It's like, Mom, I squat double your weight. And I'm just like, okay.
I bet he couldn't have done that with me.
No, not at all. Maybe we do a push-up or a squat. I don't know.
Maybe
a squat. I think a squat. But either way, these kids, like I said, they're just something else. And I'm watching it before my eyes, and I'm trying to figure out how to mom these teenagers and still, manage everything else in my life. Because, like, lately I've just been going crazy on it all. Like, just all the changes, all the things. It's very overwhelming. I think everything has just been very overwhelming for me. I'm trying to keep it together.
And I think the fact that we only have one girl, I bet you if it was 4 girls and a boy, it would be me who's losing my mind.
I think
and,
so.
And
Yeah.
you, just because you can relate to the girls and their emotions, and because you can talk to Layla like very quickly. Me, I'm like, oh my God, go away. And it's annoying, but you relate. And the same with the boys. Like I know what they're going through as far as, like their hormones and all that stuff. Because obviously I went through the same thing. And it's easy for me to be like, nah, he's just being a boy. Like that's part of this transition. And, I would say transitioning to a man, but that ain't it. We're still boy. Heck, I'm still a boy. I'm almost 40. So I'm still
If
very
that
boyish.
ain't the truth.
Just saying.
No, it's yes. And I think I'm more understanding. Thankfully I've been therapeutized, gone through therapy
Was that
to help me
you
through this, right?
deputized? You're going to be a sheriff now?
Hands up. No. No.
Great.
No, so it helps me to understand it, and it helps me to get through it and work through some of those issues as far as communication goes, right? And be understanding and kind of grab that patience back. Like I can tell when they're high emotion or I'm high emotion, it's like, okay, we need to step away. Or just knowing that they don't know how to manage their emotions fully yet. Those is it the pituitary gland? I don't know. It's
Sure.
not developed,
No,
right?
it's the frontal lobe for boys. I mean,
Frontal.
I'm probably
I don't know.
girls
I'm
too.
not.
But
See the science of. We're getting too deep on the science part of it. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know that part. I'm not a scientist. I am a scientist, not of that though.
Frontal lobe is where your emotions are dealt with.
Ah.
Yeah. So that's boys are like, rage. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you get a concussion like me, then it's hard to deal with those emotions again.
Yeah.
Did we tell the concussion story on here?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did we?
I mean,
I don't remember. That's concussion talking.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Not the last episode, but the last episode. But yeah, that was.
But yeah, it's just understanding and going through it, and I'm sure everybody deals with it in some sort of way. I just trying to break generational traumas and all those things that, I'm sure will create whatever traumas they'll still have, and we'll have to go through therapy with them to understand it. But it is what it is, and I'm just trying to be the best mom I can be.
But at least on my end as a dad, my real dad was never there to begin with. And even my stepdad, the fact that he took care of us. He made sure that, we didn't go to jail and, put a roof over our head, make sure we were fed and all that stuff. But as far as like all the dad things that I do is like, take away coaching. I do coaching because I like to help like that. Right. Being there, going to games, going and then going and not making it a big deal. To be like, oh, we got to go to this thing. I say that to you and you say that to me, but we don't say that to the kids.
Yeah.
We make sure that they know, like, no, we're just here. We're here to show you. And it is huge. Gordy proved it twice. Was when he did his little concert. He had his concert like last week or the week before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he saw us in the crowd, even though we brought him, he knew we were there. He saw us in the crowd and he was like, oh, hey. Like,
his little wave. It was so cute.
And he was just so excited. Like, it's like, oh, my, Mima's here and Tata Mike and, Nana. Everybody. Like, we're all there to just watch him sing the all around the world songs or whatever. And then the other day they had like come to recess with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it a point to say like, okay, well, I want to go. We were taking care of Nana. We were, we've been having to hang out with her. But when we got there, that he didn't know we were going to. That we didn't tell him. I don't think we told him we were going to.
No, because we had like some plans that may not have allowed us to go.
Right.
And you made it a point to go because I was like, we don't have to do it. Like, we don't have to show up. We could just, we didn't tell them we were going to be there.
A lot of parents didn't show up. A lot of parents did show up, but a lot of parents didn't show up.
Yeah. And I'm glad we did because I did see some of those kids like be really sad that their parents weren't there.
They kind of kept their eyes on the entrance.
Oh my gosh, they kept their eyes on the entrance. One of them was like, yeah, my daddy's not here. Like one of the little girls is telling the other dad that was there with her friends, like, yeah, my daddy's not here. I wish my daddy was here so he could pick me up because he was holding his daughter, right? And he's like, I'm sure your daddy wanted to be here. And like, I'm just like, it was made me so sad. I was like, okay, I'm glad we're here. Like, I think you recognize it a little bit more than I do because my mom was there for everything and my dad
Yeah.
was there for
It
everything.
was just normal for you.
They made it a point that somebody was there for us when we needed to.
Right.
And I think the thing about is like as parents we see what we had before and we think we're either doing better, we're trying to do better, or it's what we knew, so that's what we did, right?
Right.
And it really just depends on your upbringing and what you want for your kids, right? Because you either liked or you didn't like what your parents did for you. So you try to do things
A
different
mixture.
or the same,
I
right?
would say a mixture of, I'm not going to do this. I am going to do this.
Right. And then,
And
you
if you don't
know,
want to do it, sometimes then you realize, like, oh man, my mom used to do that.
yeah, or like my mom was there all the time and I'm like, well, do she was there all the time, so I have to be there all the time, but sometimes I can't, so then I get like mom guilt, right? And so it's this battle I think that we're always fighting, and our parents probably were always fighting of what they should or shouldn't do, or they thought they were doing the best that they could for us. So
Sure.
it's it's this cycle that we're trying to go through in life of, what is it just to be a good parent and what does it mean and what does it define? And I think society throws a lot of pressure on us on what it means to be a good parent. Like I'm just thinking about it right now. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I'm like, dang it, I haven't done anything for Teacher Appreciation Week. And I really do appreciate these teachers and all that they
Yeah.
do, but I see these moms making these baskets and these cups and these things, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done any of that. And so I'm like, oh, that reminds me, I should probably go to like Starbucks and get a cup and throw some like things in there for the teachers. But then I'm like, it's a guilt thing because really I'm just like, thank you, teachers, very much. I appreciate you. But is that enough? No, because society tells me that I need to go out there and make this really cute cricket made basket. And I
Show
just
up in a
sold
hot
my
air
cricket.
balloon.
So like, how am I going to make this special? So it's like all these things we're fighting as parents because of society. But I think we just love our kids so much, period.
I tell
And
you, that's
just
not
being
my
there.
internal battle.
I know. You're just like, whatever, la la la. Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Yeah, that's David all
Yeah,
the
for the
time,
most part.
for the most part. He's
Yeah.
like, what's wrong? What are you even worried about? I'm
Doesn't
like,
even matter.
everything, because you worry about nothing.
Well, there's nothing to worry about. But when we got
I
there,
digress.
again, Gordy didn't know we were coming, and he did a double fist pump. Like when he saw me, he goes, "Yes," because he knew, like, other parents had already shown up. So we walked in. He was just super excited, and he's like, "Let's go play in the sand. Let's go," And I'm doing my best to play. And then we saw one of his teammates there, and his parents were out of town, so they weren't able to go anyway. But whenever he saw me, because I'm his coach, so he hung around with us for a little bit, like, "Oh, Coach Herm," and him and Gordy were fighting for my attention. He'd be like, Coach Herm, look," and then he'd do like a little backflip on the bar, and Gordy's like, "Oh, Dad, look, I can hang and whatever," and he was trying to do so. I'm trying to, I can see you, and I can see you, and I can see you. But no, that's it. It matters. It matters to show up and be there for your kids, and
Yeah.
you don't relate as much because of the fact that you never had that issue of somebody showing up. You always had somebody. Mind you, you had a bigger family. Your non that sometimes helped out.
I mean, I had like more family.
Right.
You didn't have, you weren't surrounded by family like I
Right.
was, right? Because like my aunts, uncles, things like that, they were always there for like all the things, the parties, the birthdays,
Yeah.
the get-togethers. My nana's house was like a party house all the time. We were a mariachi family, and every weekend there was a barbecue and there was mariachi people there, and we were like partying all the time. And then, for any kind of events and activities, there was always people around. So it was always nice to have. And I think you had the complete opposite.
Correct.
And so are also like, I think we have these internal, or not internal, external battles with each other of like what it means to us and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And when some things are okay for me, you're like, no, that's not okay, vice versa, right? Because we grew up differently. And so going through that and navigating that with our relationship and what's important has been like a battle too, because we're trying to get the other one to understand how it is, but we can't see it in the same way.
I think the longer we've been together, it's been less of a battle as far as like your family and all that stuff goes, because it's very helpful that guys like your stepdad are incredibly welcoming, and that relationship on its own is one between me and him. Like we text each other. Like I don't even text like my stepdad, my real dad, most of my family. I don't hear from very much. And it is a two-way street, but for a long time I was the one trying to reach out to all of these folks, and then it just kind of stopped happening. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna, you keep trying to reach out, and then you're not getting the same reach back, so you just throw it away. But like people like Mike, we just send each other snaps, or when he's off in the race over in Texas, sending me snaps about he's showing me his seat, and like a little kid, like, look, there's Bowman, and we're right by the pit, and he's all excited for all that stuff, and that's just a normal transaction between him and I. So going
Which is
over to
funny
y'all's place.
because he's my stepdad, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, a lot of the conversation, a lot of the things like that, even with our family, like you text him all the time, but it's not like I text my mom or anybody all the time, right? And you're talking about the relationship of texting and things like that.
Mhm.
I think it's a whole different conversation to have, but it's like you make the relationships how you want to make them. If you want somebody
Right.
in your life, you make them a part of your life, and if
Yeah.
you don't, then you don't, right? And sometimes, like you say, it's an effort, is a two-way street. However, if you want that person in your life, you just have to understand who they are and what that means to your life.
Correct.
And there's some people, like, even that are in your family that you love and you want them to be, but you see them and you picture them to be a certain person or a certain thing that you expect of them, and they just don't meet that expectation.
Right.
We have to be understanding and accepting of who they are and what they are to you and in your family. And I think a lot of people, that's hard because you set these expectations to be let down all the time, but you want this person in your life, and then it becomes this toxic circle of they're not meeting these expectations that you're setting for them, and they can't, yet you want them in your life. And it's this battle you're fighting with yourself, right? So again, this is like the therapy thing, but it's understanding like who they are,
Yeah.
understanding like what you want because you want them in your life, so meeting them to that spot, right? Meeting them to who they are and having them in your life. And it's finding that balance for you when it comes to those things. So, and I think that's just what we're dealing with too, not only with families, but then we're working with our kids on that, right? Not being too much or too pushy or too involved, but also being there for them and being involved,
Mhm.
right? And finding those happy mediums or in those places that they need us. I think I saw something the other day, Mel Robbins, I started following her. She wrote a book called Let Them, and it's been really helpful with me, not only in my personal life, but our business life
Yeah.
when it comes to reaching out to clients and helping clients, right? Is the let them theory of, I want them in my life, but if they don't reciprocate, they're not doing the same things, or they have different reactions than I'm expecting, just let them,
Right.
right? Let them, that's who they are, that's how they're going to be. Don't let it affect me, right? So it's those let them things that we're doing in that, and with our kids. And she said the other day, it was like, okay, do you want, especially when the kids are talking to you, right, and giving you these conversations or like venting to you, you're like, okay, and you've kind of accepted this theory as well,
Yep.
as like, do you want me to just listen? Do you need to vent, or do you want a solution?
Yeah. Do you need advice, or do you want me to just listen to you?
Right. And a lot of that too is like coming in and figuring out when we're having these relationships with our family and things like that. It's like, do you want me to provide a solution, or are you just trying to vent? And I'm working on it because I'm a solver. I'm a helper all the time. I'm a fixer, so I'm working on that for sure.
And that was something that I don't feel like it was as hard for me to, because I am a fixer. I am one of those like, why aren't you just doing this, or why aren't you doing that? You should give this a try. You should give that a try. And they're just not looking for advice. But you were the one that told me that that you don't always want advice. You don't always want a fix. You just want me to hear you validate your feelings. But
Your ears just that ear just moved. You did that all like your ears. If you guys watching on YouTube, you will see a lot of David's emotions, Herm's emotions through his ears. So you should watch. So if you haven't
make
checked
no
it out,
sense.
and if you haven't been paying attention, you'll pay attention now. You'll see his emotions in his ears.
I'm wiggling them. Anyways, I've gotten
Anyways.
good at that with the kids.
Mhm.
Mariano's the one that's mostly like, I ask him, like, well, are you looking for advice or are you looking for, like, just to complain? And he's like, I'll take some advice. All right, this is what I would do. Or I've been in the exact situation of whatever he's dealing with. And he doesn't always take the advice, but he at least listens to it. So that's a plus. But
Yeah.
as far as like our kids, they know, and I will continue to remind them, like, I am going to be as much in their life as they want me. So if they want me, I will, any and everything that I could do to be part of their lives, I will do. Even when, they grow up and leave and, go do their own thing, we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we remain in their lives as much as they want us in their life. If we've already told them we're most likely going to be moving to Texas within the next 4 or 5 years, and I would like to have a piece of land that is more than big enough to where if they're like, hey, can we live by you? Yeah, here's a piece. Build your house, and you can't be like my direct neighbor, but you're going to be on the same piece of land as we are.
Yes, but
And
we said that we're gonna have a
little lazy river.
lazy river that goes around everybody's backyard.
Yeah.
So that, and then like in the middle, like a little barbecue pit, you have pickleball court, or something in the middle.
Party
So yeah, a little
compound.
party compound, right? So that way, any kids, you're like, oh, just meet me on the river. I'm coming by, and you like run and jump on your like little tube, and you can just float around. We got to do that.
And I've heard a lot of parents, and I was even told, like, I'm not your babysitter. Like, I don't know, good luck. And now thinking about it, I don't think that I could be their babysitter enough to where, they'd say, hey, Dad, can you? Yeah, come on. And then you just take them and do whatever you're doing. And don't get me wrong, kids are a pain in the butt. But the beauty of being a grandparent is once they're being a pain in the butt, and be like, all right, go back to mama.
Unless we never,
you go.
unless they're like, no, we're going to stay away another couple days so you guys have them.
But if that's the case, it's cool. Let's go. Come on. Like
Yeah.
Gordy, he is a pain in the butt, and he's spoiled, and all the things. But he acts right with other people.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw fits. He's for the most part not like a big crybaby. He kind of saves that for us because we're still lucky. So it's not a big deal for him to stay somewhere else for a few days, and he's a good kid. I would imagine it to be similar if we become grandparents and doing that. But I would be more than happy to say, like, yeah, dude, I will get him. No worries.
We'll see.
We will see.
We'll see. Talk about my patience wearing thin.
But it wouldn't.
I know. Just
But it
kidding.
wouldn't have to be. And
I
it would
know.
be totally different with a grandchild. 'Cause
I know.
you look at all the parents now. You're like, I couldn't get away with half of this. What is going on? And you're over here buying. Oh, now you got McDonald's money. Now we ain't got comida en la casa. Okay.
I
Okay.
know.
There's food at the house.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Anyways.
Anywho.
Well, summer's coming. And
Yep.
our kids are acting cray-cray because they are ready for school to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of excited because we're planning vacation, and I'm excited for vacation.
We get to go
And
watch
Noah's
baseball,
coming to see us. So
celebrate my kid's 21st.
I think I'm starting to get a little of that summeritis, waiting for like I'm ready for the beach. I'm ready for.
Well, I'm tired of getting up for school when I don't have to go. That's crap.
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited
It's
for all
annoying.
that. But anyways,
I don't have to.
I am hungry,
Yeah.
and so I'm ready to
We
end
go-
the show.
We need to go eat. See?
And I'm really hoping, I've been like stressing this whole time that this all works out today. Like the podcast is actually going to record. We're actually going to get to release an episode.
Oh, we'll
And I
see.
think I've been like out, my mind's not been here fully. My mind's been like watching everything and hoping that it's going to work.
And the echo's on.
No, wait. It's not on. Scared me. I did check it. I've triple checked. I keep checking. I'm like, is everything working on the switchboard?
A million times. That's good. Anyways,
So, yes, we are here.
thanks for visiting. As always, y'all were lovely guests, but we got stuff to do, so we ain't got to
Nothing
go
to
home.
eat.
But you got to get the heck out of here. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Okay, bye.